Next up, we have Elizabeth Croteau speaking on an event-based model for scheduling of aircraft heavy maintenance tasks.
Good evening, my name is Elizabeth, and I am in industrial engineering, which suffers from the worst public relations of any engineering discipline. We are not very well known, even less well understood, and unfortunately, I don't have the time to explain it to you right now. However, I am hopeful that after listening to my presentation, your curiosity will be piqued and you will be interested in learning more about the profession. So, right on to it. Maintenance scheduling at Jazz Aviation. First off, when I say maintenance scheduling, most people assume that I'm talking about when to do maintenance, but in the aviation industry, that's not the tricky part. Companies pretty much have that decided for them by federal regulations. I'm talking about what happens after the aircraft enters the hangar. Jazz has a list of tasks that needs to be done, and they have to determine the order in which to do them. And that scheduling happens manually, which takes a lot of time before the aircraft comes in and leaves a lot of opportunity for improvement once the aircraft is in the hangar. For example, an employee might go to the aircraft, remove a panel, do an inspection, replace the panel, and a couple hours later come back, take that same panel off, do the repair, and replace it again. Jazz recognizes this inefficiency as an opportunity for improvement and wants an automated scheduling tool that will schedule their maintenance for them. And that's where I come in. For my thesis, I have developed a mathematical programming model that I have customized to Jazz. This model crunches through all the possible solutions for the schedule and chooses the one that takes the least amount of time, thus optimizing the schedule. How I developed this model is through these 5 steps you see in tiny writing on the screen. The first one was to determine the model type. Time-based models are really simple, but they have tons of variables. I'm looking at scheduling like 300 tasks. I don't have time for that, so I went with an event-based model, which are a lot more recent. So for step number 2, I had to modify the variables. I noticed that there was some duplication of information in these variables, so I modified them to reduce the noise, decrease the size of the model, which led to step 3, having to redefine the constraints to accurately reflect the modified variables and the situation at Jazz. You've got resource constraints. You can't fit 5 people in a cockpit. There isn't enough room. And you've got prerequisite constraints. You cannot take the wheels off the airplane until you put the airplane on jacks. Once I had a model that accurately represented the situation at Jazz, I then had to make it run a lot faster than it was currently running, which came to step number 4, streamlining the program. I wrote a C programming code that pre-processes the data and reduces the number of possible solutions that the model has to crunch through. This pre-processing code increases the speed of the model on the order of thousands, but more importantly, my model in comparison to my base model that you see the citation for at the bottom of the screen actually runs 6 to 10 times faster. So my model for 32 activities will run in 8 minutes rather than 50. Huge improvement. I've contributed to the body of knowledge. So step number 5 is implementing the model at Jazz. I'm currently working with them to transfer over the model and the ownership of it, and it is scheduled to go into production on the Q400 series aircraft in September. Thank you very much, and have a fabulous evening.